World War II ended for the Germans on May 7, 1945, a day after Germany is divided to prevent them from revolting again. West Germany had aid from the Marshall Plan and were able to rebuild quickly and help their people because of this. Meanwhile, East Germans were trapped behind a dangerous wall, cut off from the rest of their country. The only thing the East Germans had to keep them together was support from their families and friends. But one night, the citizens on either side wake up to find a wall in place between them and their loved ones. They were not allowed to cross, and if attempted, there would be instant death. This was a reality for most people living in East Berlin, Germany, during the Cold War. At this point, people realized that they would never see their loved ones again unless they took on a suicide mission of trying to climb over the wall, but that was never an option.
After World War II, Germany was divided into 4 separate areas controlled by Britain, France, the US, and the USSR. Berlin, the capital city, was divided the exact same way. Eventually, Britain, the US, and France decided to unify their regions into one western side. In response to this, the USSR created a blockade of Berlin, stopping the shipments of food and supplies. By using an airlift, the US was able to get supplies to their region of Berlin, and the blockade ceased, but tensions still remained between the two nations. Because of the harsh influence of USSR leader Nikita Khrushchev in East Germany, almost 3 million people fled to the Allied West between 1948 and 1960. To keep the people in the East Berlin, Khrushchev ordered the building of the Berlin Wall in 1961. The only way to get through to the other side was by guarded checkpoints. Families were separated across the border with no way to be reunited. The wall was actually made up of different parts. There were concrete walls, barbed wire, steel stakes in the ground, dog patrols, ditches, and watchtowers. To try and cross the wall was deadly, but not impossible.
After the wall was built, people struggled to figure out different ways to escape and get back to their families or even escape communism. There were people who would just try and climb over the wall and then run through the obstacles set up by the guards. But then there were the people who used extraordinary ways to get to the west side. The 3 most amazing escapes were by hot air balloon, train, and cable wires. First, the hot air balloon escape was created and executed by 2 people, Peter Stelix and Gunter Wetzel. They created 2 balloons that both failed, and then they created a third which worked. So, at midnight the next night, they took their families to a hill and took off into the night. They floated over the wall and then crash-landed in West Germany and escaped the communist East. The second biggest escape was performed by Horst Klang. He was a professional trapeze artist, and he was majorly anti-communist. So late one night, he climbed the electrical pole and swung from electrical wire to wire. Once he was on the other side, he tried to climb down, but instead fell 40 feet. He broke both his arms, but otherwise survived. The last escape was one for the books. A man named Harry Dieterling took his family and put them on a train that had tracks going from East to West Germany. He got the train from his engineer buddy and drove it straight through the Berlin Wall. He and his family survived the crash to the wall and made it to freedom. Then, on November 9th of 1989, the East German Communist Party stated that citizens of the GDR could cross the wall if they would like. When this announcement was said, millions of people swarmed the wall at midnight with beer and champagne. Some just walked across, while others began to break the wall down with hammers and chisels. People threw parties to signify the end of the actual war in their eyes. In the end, people reunited with their friends and family after being separated for years. It was a joyous night and everyone was happy.
Many small people
who in many small places do many small things
can alter the face of the world.
To learn more about the fall of the Berlin Wall, feel free to visit either of these websites.